We start with breaking news this morning out of Northwest Portland, where fire and rescue crews are responding to a fire at Elephant Delicatessen on Northwest 22nd. Good morning and thank you for joining us here live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchik. We'll get to the weather and traffic in just a minute, but first we want to get straight out to that breaking news. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is on the scene. Thomas, what are you seeing now?
Yo guys, fire crews just arrived back on scene here after leaving about half an hour ago. This is a fire and really a response they've been working on since 1 o'clock this morning. Here's what we're seeing. You can see right now, looks like they've got the crane just above the roof of Elephant's Delicatessen after this fire first grew ablaze around 1 o'clock this morning. They've been here for quite some time. I want to show you some video as well of earlier this morning of firefighters fighting this fire. You can see water spraying onto this building, which is really a staple of Northwest Portland. Elephant's Delicatessen has been in this area for decades and at this current location since 2004. Fortunately, no injuries occurred in this fire, though it's unclear exactly how it started. The CEO of Elephant's Delicatessen tells us that it started outside before then moving inside, and it seems like they're going to have to completely rebuild the building. The CEO was at a complete loss when we spoke to him. Here's more on what he had to say.
We know there was a fire outside of the building, outside of the front door, that spread up the front and went on to the top. So we got to investigate it. We're getting the video to see what happened and work with Portland police and fire to investigate what happened.
And you can see right here, it looks like that crane is going toward the windows of the building that firefighters actually pushed into earlier this morning. I'm not sure if they're going to spray water in or what their plan is, but a couple fire trucks just arrived back on scene here in the last 15 minutes or so. You can see as we widen out here a bit too, just how much debris and how much damage there is all across the facade of this building here right off of Burnside. 22nd is closed here by Elephant's Delicatessen, as well as firefighters continue to just work to make sure that this fire is completely extinguished. We do know the gas and the electricity have been turned off as they continue to try to ensure that this fire is completely out, guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live this morning. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, let's head over to Rod now for a check of the forecast and an active week ahead for us, Rod.
Yes, good morning. Yesterday the airport only put 107 inches of total rain in the gauge. This morning, not a lot of total rain with this initial batch we've had there. It's passing through. That's now moving off to the east. There's some light rain in Newport, but really a pretty quiet morning overall. This afternoon, however, I think the rain will pick up and it will become quite wet outside. For now, we're looking at a temperature in Salem of 37 degrees. Downtown Portland, there's the live look, and the temperature is 40 degrees. It'll be 45 at noon. Futurecast models like right around 2 o'clock for shower activity to start really picking up this afternoon, then pretty wet, 47 at 5 o'clock. The big push of steady rain, that could be a 3-day rain event. That starts after midnight tonight. Here's Chris.
Well, Rod, we did have snow in the Oregon Coast Range, as you've mentioned, and the Vernonia School District on a 2-hour delay this morning because of that. Down low for the rest of us, the drive definitely getting busier here in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll take you live to North Portland. That's I-5 up near Columbia Boulevard, and that southbound commute really tightening up. Once you cross the Interstate Bridge, you hit the line up between Delta Park and Columbia Boulevard, and from there it's a 10-mile-an-hour drive or so down into the Rose Quarter. So 21 minutes right now gets you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. There's a live look at the Sylvan Hill. Busy, but moving on Highway 26. And last but not least, over on the east side, this is the Banfield, westbound I-84, tight coming in from the Hollywood District. At last check, that's now over 30 minutes to get you in from Troutdale to the I-5 split. Matthew, China, back to you.
Chris, thank you. Unions representing faculty, academic professionals, and teachers at Portland Community College say they're planning a strike for tomorrow morning. The unions say this will be the first strike in PCC's history and the first strike at a community college in Oregon. They say they're striking over what they called a, quote, insulting final offer of a 0.35% cost of living adjustment for 26 and 27. In a statement, PCC's Director of Public Relations said in part, quote, the college remains focused on reaching agreements that are fair, sustainable, and aligned with long-term institutional stability. They added that they plan to have another mediation session with the unions today. Now, PCC says students will receive grades for the current term within 5 days of the faculty returning to work. And if the strike impacts spring term, which begins on March 30th, students will have the option to request a refund at the beginning of the term. In developing this morning a financial crisis for Portland State University, the school's president there says several departments could either be reduced or eliminated altogether.
This comes as the school faces a $35 million budget shortfall over the next 2 years. According to university officials, the massive budget deficit is due in part to low enrollment, rising cost, and limited state funding. In a letter to the union representing PSU faculty, PSU President Ann Cudd wrote that the list of departments on the chopping block comes after careful consideration and deliberation. She also stressed that none of these cuts are set in stone. Of the 19 departments impacted, University Studies, Conflict Resolution, and Portland Center, which is a study abroad program, could all get cut. Programs that could be reduced include things like economics, history, and philosophy. We also heard from Bill Knight, the president of the University Professors Union and an English teacher at PSU.
We've been in the middle of the Bridge to the Future plan, and the challenge with that plan is it doesn't seem to offer us the kind of bridge we'd like. So we're looking now at cuts, and the question looming over all of this is whether you can cut your way to prosperity. Our position has been all along that that's not a great idea.
University officials say a final plan is expected in June. Meantime, the start of Portland's WNBA inaugural season could be in jeopardy as contract negotiations continue between the league and the players union.
In order for the league to start on time in early May, the two sides have to reach a deal today. The union wants players to receive a share of the league's gross revenue, while the WNBA has offered a percentage of net revenue. The dispute comes as the league has seen a major spike in viewership. If the season is delayed, it could have repercussions to Portland as the new team, of course the Fire, tries to rebuild after being shut down in the early 2000s. If a deal is reached, the Portland Fire will host Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky in its home opener on May 9th.
The Department of Justice has reached a settlement with Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation.
The Fed sued the concert giant, saying they had a monopoly on the live industry entertainment. Catherine Cook has more on what this means for concertgoers.
Fans pay big bucks to see their favorite shows, but the Department of Justice says the way Ticketmaster and parent company Live Nation had been driving up consumer prices is illegal. So 2 years ago, under the Biden administration, they filed an antitrust lawsuit, hoping to restore competition to the market, in part by separating Live Nation from Ticketmaster.
Live Nation often sacrifices profits it could earn as a venue owner by letting its venues sit empty, rather than opening them to artists who do not use Live Nation promotion services, even during peak concert season.
But on Monday, DOJ attorneys and Live Nation Entertainment announced they'd struck a deal, at least with some states, to lower ticket prices for consumers and end an illegal monopoly over live events. Under the proposed settlement, Live Nation would divest from at least 13 amphitheaters nationwide. They would also have to allow a mix of ticket vendors for some venues and pay a $280 million fine.
Versus the $33 billion that they made last year, drop in the bucket.
That's billion with a B. Portland attorney Robert Parker Jr. filed his own lawsuit against Live Nation about a year before the feds filed theirs. He represented We Are Live Entertainment, which says Live Nation cost their artists millions of dollars. Parker says the states that settled with Live Nation handed the ticket giant a win.
What should have probably happened in terms of divestiture was clearly not significant enough.
Several states agree, including Oregon and Washington, which announced they'll push ahead with the lawsuit. On Monday, Oregon AG Dan Rayfield criticized the DOJ for settling, saying, Oregonians deserve a fair marketplace. We will continue to support the coalition of states committed to holding Live Nation accountable, protecting consumers, and restoring real competition to the music industry.
And maybe the remaining states that are not signing off will be able to extract some further concessions in their particular geographical regions of the country.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Your time now is 8:09. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at your weather.
Hey, check this out. I haven't noticed this before. Maybe today's the first day it is there to notice, but the cherry blossom trees are starting to come to life on the Capitol Mall down in Salem. So check that out. Cloudy skies. There's been some rain, but right now dry. 37 degrees in Salem. And check this out. The vineyard actually looks like, or at least I don't know. Everything looks like it's starting to spring to me, at least the green grass out on the vineyard. From our Salem tasting room down in Sherwood, where we've had some rain as well, but right now it's 36 degrees. Thought we could have some issues with freezing temperatures this morning. That really hasn't happened, so good news there. We have seen snow pass at areas below 1,000 feet, but again, not seeing any issues here in the valley. 35 in Scappoose and Hillsboro right now, and Dallas. It's 39 degrees down in Albany. We have not much rain from this point forward this morning, a few passing showers at most, but this afternoon, unlike yesterday, rain will really start to pick up. And I think we'll get into a pretty wet period of time this afternoon. 40s Coast and Valley, dry in Central Oregon, dry out east again mainly, except for some showers pushing through the gorge and out into the Blue Mountains. Here's our 7-day forecast. The big story here is one of the wettest stretches we've seen this entire winter. It begins after midnight tonight. Rain could be steady more than not then. All of Wednesday, all of Thursday, all of Friday, at least 2 to 3 inches of rain. Weather models say we could get 4. And while I have a rain chance this weekend, the weekend, quite frankly, could be completely dry potentially. Here's Chris.
Hey, Rod, I want to take you back out to eastern Oregon. We'll get back to this graphic in a second. I-84 westbound, a section of it was closed overnight due to what ODOT said were limited visibility conditions. I do want to give you a little snapshot here. It's snow-covered, very snow-covered, actually, in some cases, from Pendleton all the way east to Baker City. So be aware of that if you're traveling into the high country. Of course, here we are live at Government Camp. Chains and traction tires required here this morning up over Mount Hood. And we've already talked about the snow in the Coast Range, the Vernonia School District, on a 2-hour delay today because of snow. All right, there's a live look at I-5 through North Portland. Slow and steady, says it, with that southbound commute up near Columbia Boulevard. Highway 26, again, equally slow coming in from the Sylvan Hill. Right now, we're holding it about 23 minutes to get you in from Hillsboro to downtown. Matthew?
Chris, thank you. Idaho is trying to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to fighting fires. The money that's been reallocated to hire more help.
I'm Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor at KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to offer. I want to make sure you're prepared for the day, whether it's bringing you breaking news or sharing those inspirational stories that make you smile. We've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Portland's #1 streaming newscast, Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
We're talking about wildfire season out here in the West, and in Idaho, budget cuts could impact standby fire crews who gear up and are ready to respond whenever a wildfire breaks out.
And as Cooper Morgan shows us, these crews are crucial for protecting communities.
For Dustin Miller, low snowpack and the upcoming fire season are top of mind.
We've had a very mild winter, and we're entering an early spring. And so we're really concerned about what that could translate to later in the summer.
Miller is the director of the Idaho Department of Lands. It's an integral piece to keeping Idaho safe from the flames.
We pride ourselves on quick, decisive, and safe initial attacks. So when that fire bell rings, we're sending our resources as quickly as possible. So we have to be ready, we have to be well trained and prepared to tackle the fire threat in this state.
But this year, lawmakers cut 3% from the Department of Land's budget as part of the governor's overall spending reductions. Then, the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee, or JFAC, added another 1 to 2% cut. Senator Jim Woodward, who's a part of JFAC, says the state typically funds wildfire suppression ahead of time.
What people should know is that normally we fund the firefighting efforts ahead of time. We've been trying to do that as fiscally responsible Idahoans. We did not do it last year.
When that funding runs out, the state still keeps crews working.
It gets paid for on a deficiency warrant or on a credit card because we don't want the agency to stop fighting fire at some point. And so that's the intent of a deficiency warrant, is that if you do run out of appropriated money, you continue to perform the function.
With the state spending $40 to $50 million a year fighting wildfires, Miller says the 1 to 2% reductions could hit the front lines.
So we have huge fire protection responsibilities, and these cuts would have dramatically impacted our staffing in places like eastern Idaho and up in the Panhandle. And so I need all the firefighters we can get, given the money that we've been appropriated.
So JFAC is using supplemental appropriations to put some of that money back. But not everyone supported the move.
Last year, this agency reverted $537,000. Fiscal year 2023, they actually reverted $2.2 million. So we need to be taking a look at some of these things where there are places where we could make some efficiencies. And given that the department's not spending this money in this account, I would say this is one that we can probably leave off.
Petsky pointed to several dedicated funds tied to fire and forestry and proposed giving the Department of Lands more flexibility to shift money between its own programs, instead of tapping the state's main checkbook.
The funds that were restored are a part of our preparedness account. That's what funds our program, pays our men and women throughout the year when they're not on fire. It also pays for equipment and training and PPE.
Miller says those funds are crucial to keeping positions staffed and prepared, as they can't pull money from different funds when there's no immediate fire burning.
And in Oregon, Senator Ron Wyden is pushing for clarity from the Trump administration on how it plans to fight fires this year. Wyden saying Forest Service layoffs and budget cuts could lead to an ominous time. All right, we're going to bring Rod in right now. The fires, the potential fire danger is something that you've talked a lot about for the summer.
So this week is good news for us. I mean, certainly the higher elevation of the Cascades, looking at a good 3 feet of snow easily from tonight through Friday night. We're looking at getting hit with one of the wettest weeks of our winter season, all in all, starting overnight tonight. So this is good news. We're trying to get our snowpack up to at least 50% of normal. And while that's not great, it's sure it's heck better than 25% of normal, which is one of our record low years some seasons back. Here's Timberline Lodge. Been snowing on and off this morning, now down to 16. Temperature's been dropping. They report 7 inches of new snow, so that's good news. Here's a look at the Sunset Highway. Chris has been talking about this. This is 1,400 feet, Highway 26 coming out of Portland, so on the east slope of the Coast Range, and that is snow. These conditions will be improving this afternoon with rising temperatures somewhat. Here's Lee's Camp, 589. That looks clean. But this, I thought I was going to show you Oregon 18, which also has at least a dusting of snow, and that's down around 600 feet. So there's some snow in the Coast Range. This is the final day of watching Coast Range passes. It'll be all rain over the mountains starting tomorrow. Now the Cascades will continue to see heavy snow tomorrow, and then the snow level will shift near 5,000 feet on Thursday and Friday. This shows could be a good 3 feet of snow, especially at Timberline Falls, so that's really good news. Now, this morning, not much more rain. We've had some showers this morning. It's pretty quiet out there right now. Here's the 2 o'clock hour. Rain showers picking up, and I think this afternoon becomes pretty active. That didn't really happen yesterday. I think it will today. That snow up in the Cascades. Be prepared for snow-covered icy roads if you're traveling that direction. And then overnight tonight, here we finally go. This is Wednesday morning. This will be rain all day long, heavy snow much of the day at Cascade Pass level, but before things start to warm up somewhat. And then that was just steady rain all the way into noon on Thursday. This still shows pretty good snow in the Cascades. And the final push of rain keeps all this going through Friday night. So we are talking about a full 3-day rain event starting overnight tonight and going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The rain amounts from the modeling continue to show about 4 inches in Kelso, Longview, about the same in Portland. Over 3 at the coast, nearing 4 in Lee City. It shows a bullseye of wetness of 7 inches in the valley in Tillamook. How about that? Wow, we'll see if that comes true. And then 79 100ths of an inch of rain, or total moisture, I should say, out in the Grand, out toward the Blues. Our director, Brian Matthews, zoomed in what I noticed earlier, and that's the Capitol Mall colors down in Salem are starting to come to life. Happy spring, meteorological spring already. 40 in Portland, 33 Kelso and Astoria, where we have seen some clearing. So again, not much more rain this morning, but afternoon showers picking up. Snow level today rising to about 1,500 feet, and then the big jump in snow level to 3,000 feet going into tomorrow morning. 47 today, 50 tomorrow. Look at the overnight lows will be warm with all this rain coming in through Friday. It could be over completely by the time you wake up Saturday morning, including a shower chance early in the morning. Sunday is a warm push, but it might be offshore enough that we just get clouds and stay dry on Sunday too. Look at Monday, back up to 64, warmer Tuesday of next week. Chris?
Meanwhile, it's snowing hard right now. Live at Government Camp, chains or traction tires needed up through Government Camp on Highway 26 and a section of Highway 35 as well up in the mountains. So be aware traveling that direction. Down low for the rest of us, it's wet and somewhat slow, but not bad. There's the Sunset out near the Sylvan Hill. Right now you're tripping from Hillsborough, averaging about 26 minutes or so from Brookwood Parkway. Heads up again tonight on the St. John's Bridge tonight, night number 2, 5 straight nights of overnight closures. The St. John's Bridge closing from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. the following morning as ODOT does bridge inspection. That means all traffic, bikes, pedestrians, and of course vehicles. You will have to take the long way around I-405 over the Fremont Bridge. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Thanksgiving tradition is simmering, but one fan is hoping to turn the heat back up. The rivalry between the Ducks and the Beavs isn't as juicy as it used to be.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
Well, for more than 130 years, Thanksgiving weekend meant some households and families were divided over the rivalry game between the Ducks and the Beavers.
And though that rivalry isn't as heated as it once was, one OSU alum is hoping to preserve its spirit. Joey Neary explains.
It was one of the longest-running rivalry games in college football, the Civil War. And like a relationship that falls apart, eventually so do the memories of what made it so great.
The game kind of started to lose its luster when they moved it to September because, for me and my family and friends, it was always like part of our Thanksgiving weekend tradition.
Now Ryan Watland is making sure people don't forget about the long storied tradition that only separates the schools by about 45 minutes.
We have this in teas as well. We have this in youth size.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Wantland and his business partner, Brian Capel, launched a website called Honor the Rivalry.
We wanted to start it because we wanted, we were talking to friends and family just as we keep getting the news on what's happening with this and nobody really knows. And we were just like, is there a way that we can kind of keep the spirit of the rivalry alive?
Wantland, who's a former apparel and design veteran with Nike, decided not to take sides but come up with something neutral. So the main part of his products are designed around a platypus, part beaver and part duck.
That was kind of the thought behind it was, let's create something fun that kind of can appeal to all ages and kind of all demos within the state.
Over the last couple of weeks, he's been selling these shirts, sweatshirts, and hats.
We're kind of already seeing the reach of like where people end up. Like, we're getting orders from the East Coast and, places like that. So you kind of see that these people like love this rivalry even though they may not live in the state anymore.
He's not worried about what sells and what doesn't.
This is about, once again, preserving the rivalry in a very kind of fun, authentic, and only Oregon way.
He just wants to make sure the rivalry isn't something that's forgotten. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Well, an overnight legislative session is still filled with debate. Why a group of Washington lawmakers started the Votorama last night. Plus, a beloved restaurant is celebrating more than 60 years in business, how they're blowing out the candles, and what you can walk away with today.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community, or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between. We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Herchik. Portland Fire is investigating what caused an early morning fire at the Elephant's Delicatessen flagship location on Northwest 22nd. Crews began trying to extinguish the fire at 1 o'clock this morning. Firefighters spent hours rotating in and out of the building, with crews eventually having to be pulled off of the roof and out of the building for safety reasons. Nobody was injured. Headed over to Rod for a check of the weather.
Well, good morning. We had some showers. Now they've moved up into the Cascades. It is snowing down below 1,000 feet, though. Low snow levels. You can see some more showers starting to gather here nearing the shore. It doesn't look like we get a lot of rain this morning, but rain activity picking up this afternoon. Some breaks in the cloud cover out in the gorge. That's Indian Creek Golf Course out in Hood River. Winds have been light this morning, by the way. In Portland, 40 is the early morning number. Again, I think showers will be picking up this afternoon. And then we have that big push of steady rain arriving after midnight tonight. And then it's steady rain on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, at least 2 to 3 inches and maybe more here in the Rose City.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. We do want to get back to the breaking news that we've been covering all this morning in Northwest Portland, where crews are responding to an overnight fire at the Elephant's Delicatessen on Northwest 22nd.
That means we will have your weather and traffic in just a few minutes. But first, our Thomas Schultz has been at the scene all morning long and has the latest.
Well, it is just after 8 o'clock here at Elephant's Delicatessen in Northwest Portland, where there was a huge fire earlier this morning, which has led to this response from firefighters. I want to show you some video that we saw earlier this morning as they were spraying the roof of this fire, a fire that completely encapsulated the building and led to a lot of damage. It's still unclear how it started. Thankfully, there were no injuries, though the CEO of Elephant's Delicatessen tells us it actually started outside of the building before then making its way inside. It's unclear just how much of the building is damaged, though it does seem like it is immense damage. Fire crews have been here since 1 o'clock this morning, closing down parts of 22nd Street right off of Burnside. And this is a building that is a staple of Northwest Portland. Elephant's Delicatessen has been at this location since 2004 after moving from its original spot on Northwest 23rd. And now, some customers and neighbors say they're not sure what'll come after this fire.
I live with roommates and we're coming over here all the time, like especially if, if it's a busy night or whatever and we just want some food, this usually is like the go-to spot, get a burger or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It'll be tough if it's inoperable for a while.
And you can see fire crews right there moving a crane onto areas of the building that they actually punched into as they were fighting this fire earlier this morning. So the work's still heavily involved here as they have extinguished the fire and are now ensuring that there's no more smoldering here on Northwest 22nd. But you can see around the facade of this building just charred. It's a lot of damage, and it looks like it'll be a full repair that needs to be made, a full rebuild. The CEO of Elephant's Delicatessen says they plan to do that as they wait for more information from this investigation. In Northwest Portland, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
We are also following other breaking news this morning in Vancouver. Around 4:30 this morning, a fire broke out on the balcony of a second-story apartment at the Meadowcrest Apartments. The fire was isolated to that area and did not extend to any other apartments. Vancouver Fire says everyone was able to get out safely, but one person was taken to the hospital. The Vancouver Battalion Chief says one family was displaced and the fire is now fully extinguished. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
So it is 8:32, time to get over to Rod for our check of the weather.
Well, good morning. Thank you. We had some rain. Now that's moved off east into the Cascades. It's been snowing lower than 1,000 feet this morning. You see some rain gathering offshore. So pretty quiet, I think, the next several hours, an ongoing shower chance. This afternoon, I think, turns out to be quite wet with increasing showers across the region. We're starting to see the cherry blossoms come to life on the Capitol Mall in Salem. 37 is the number there. Mostly cloudy over downtown Portland. Currently dry. We're at 40. Thought maybe temperatures could be an issue this morning with potential icy spots of wet roads. That has not happened. 45 degrees at noon. Still pretty quiet. And then in that 2 o'clock hour is when our Futurecast shows rain showers really starting to pick up today. It'll be another mainly dry day in central Oregon and out east. We've seen pretty good snow out over the Blues. That chance continues today. And the snow level up in the Cascades, no higher than about 1,500 feet this afternoon. And that opens the door for more snow shower activity today in the Coast Range as well. Portland 47, again getting wet this afternoon. And then it's all steady rain tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. At least 2 to 3 inches. Futurecast models show we could get 4 inches of rain. Current timing has that mainly over by the time you get up Saturday. There's a shower chance on Sunday, but just a chance. We could be just dry this weekend, which would be nice after the 3 really wet days that start overnight tonight. Here's Chris.
Rod, you mentioned snow in the Coast Range. A reminder, the Vernonia School District in Columbia County is on a 2-hour delay this morning. And here's a look at Highway 26 up near the Sunset Rest area. By the way, we did have a report of a fender bender just west of this location a little while ago. You can see some snow on the road there for sure. That's at 30 degrees and that's at 1,400 feet. The highest point of Highway 6 and Highway 26 is up at like 1,600 feet. So yeah, watch out for slick spots in the Coast Range this morning. All right, down low where the rest of us are, traffic in full swing and busy at that. I-5 from Clark County, 25 minutes, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll zip on over to the west side. Northbound 217, a little slow near Washington Square for sure. That trip between the interchanges from I-5 to Highway 26 running along at about 14 minutes. Matthew?
Chris, thank you. Well, an update to a major ruling that will impact how federal officers respond to protesters at Portland's ICE building.
A judge has essentially barred them from using chemical munitions such as tear gas, pepper balls, or flashbangs unless there's an imminent threat to officers or others. This all stems from a lawsuit filed by protesters, including a man known as the Portland Chicken, who argued federal agents repeatedly used excessive force, violating protesters' protected speech.
What I've been able to witness in my extensive time down there has been a pretty consistent tactic of using violence and force irrespective of the conduct of the crowd.
The decision creates a preliminary injunction that would be in place until a judge lifts it. If court filings, government lawyers say that tear gas and pepper balls are key tools used to prevent escalation and protect federal property. The government is expected to appeal. All right, we are learning more information about a deadly wrong-way crash on I-5 that we brought to you as breaking news on Sunrise yesterday. State police say a 40-year-old woman from Washington was going the wrong way on northbound I-5 near the Battleground exit. Troopers say that's when she hit the 30-year-old Portland man head-on. Both died at the scene. The crash shut down all northbound lanes of I-5 for several hours.
Now to Estacada, where the city council addressed the arrest of one of their own. Matthew Blevins is accused of assaulting a child in his custody over several years. He's been on city council for just 1 year. Last night, one of his fellow council members called for his resignation.
I am also of the mind to ask for Councilor Matthew Blevins' resignation. Might not be the most popular, but that's where my heart lies, and that's what, I think would be best for this council.
Blevins was indicted on assault, strangulation, harassment, and criminal mistreatment charges. He's set to go to trial at the end of April.
This morning, Washington lawmakers have been lobbying for more than 12 hours without a break as they work to pass a so-called millionaire's tax. Just a couple of minutes ago, one of the many amendments introduced was voted down.
Republicans are trying to get amendments added to it, and by lining up dozens of them for debate, they can drag things out. Now, as it stands now, households making more than $1 million a year would pay the income tax on earnings above that. This version also had more tax breaks for small businesses and low-income families. We heard from lawmakers on both sides before the debate hit the floor last night.
We have a very regressive tax code that is not doing anything for Washington families. We have to make it more progressive, more fair in terms of who pays and the capacity to pay so that we can pay for basic services like education, health care, higher ed, public safety.
We have a generational seismic shift in our tax policy about to be debated on the House floor tonight, and we're going to treat it as such, and we're going to put up the most epic fight that we've ever put up, as if this was the biggest fight of all of our careers.
Once it passes out of the House, it will go to the Senate to sign off on any changes. Governor Bob Ferguson says that he will sign it.
New legislation passed this session in Salem is helping ODOT avoid hundreds of layoffs and service cuts. That means ODOT crews will stay on the job and DMV offices will remain open. The state will redirect $218 million from existing programs through the next 18 months. The legislature also voted to lower ODOT's authorized spending by about $80 million. But ODOT leaders say this one-time funding is only a short-term fix.
We've really had some challenges with how we are funded, and we're looking for long-term solutions so that we can continue to provide services to Oregonians.
Lawmakers will talk about long-term transportation funding again next year. This year, Democrats passed a bill to move a vote on new transportation taxes from November to May. After the governor signed it, Republicans filed lawsuits in both states and federal courts. A state court hearing is scheduled for later today.
Well, it is 8:39. Time to head over to Chris for a check of the traffic. How are things looking out there, Chris?
Well, let's talk about tonight real quick. A reminder that the St. John's Bridge will be ongoing with closures each night this week from 10 p.m. until as late as 5 o'clock the next morning. ODOT doing biennial bridge inspections, some maintenance and repairs and whatnot. So that means all bikes, pedestrians, drivers, etc., with the exception of emergency vehicles, you'll need a detour. And the detour is the I-405 Fremont Bridge. So a simple detour, but one that will definitely add some time to your overnight commute. All right, the commute right now, let's take it down to Gladstone, or Oregon City, I should say. I-205 southbound traffic running a little slick, I should say thick, south of Clackamas to Oregon City. The drive not in bad shape, but right now it'll take you about 20 minutes to get you to Tualatin. Again, that's from Highway 224. Elsewhere in the freeway system, still pretty slow through North Portland as well. That drive out of Clark County, almost 25 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thank you, Chris. And the KGW Great Food Drive is going on right now. We need your help to collect enough donations to provide more than 1 million meals to local people and families in need. One way you can help right now is by giving online at kgw.com/food drive. A $25 donation provides a week's worth of meals for a family. And all week long, local Toyota dealers will match all donations up to the first $10,000. We want to thank local Toyota dealers, Pacific Office Automation, Rivermark Community Credit Union, and Safeway for supporting this year's food drive.
So spring might be just 10 days away, but the winter weather is still sticking around in parts of the Pacific Northwest. How mountain businesses are welcoming the colder weather with open arms.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that are going to make your life better, at least a little bit easier. We all go through major changes, right? Whether it's a kid leaving the house, or a loved one who's sick, or a loved one who's gone, and you need some help, you need some guidance. Well, this is exactly what these books provide. This is a simply stated series of books. You can buy them together or separately, but they walk you through major changes. Like if you're over 60 and have to join Medicare one day, this book right here, this whole packet here will walk you through the enrollment process and the different plans. Incredibly useful here. What if you're a family with a high school student who's getting ready to go to college, another major life transition? I got 2 boys at home. This is going to be me soon. So whether it's scholarships or the enrollment or the calendar or the emotions of it all, this is so helpful. Also books about the empty nest for parents whose kids are already gone, or what it means dealing with someone who's in hospice or in the hospital dealing with an illness. And then right here, this book I love, When Life Happens. When my dad was sick before he passed a year ago, I wish I had this. It puts all of your personal information in one place so your family isn't scrounging around for all these million little things when it can all be right here. Like these little envelopes here, which contain, your personal financial information, your burial wishes, your medical and life insurance. Hugely useful here. Each of these books cost between $25 and $35 thanks to a 25% discount. Just scan that QR code or go to ShopTVDeals.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In Portland, we're expecting a stream of heavy rain headed into the weekend, but other parts of the Pacific Northwest are prepping for more snow.
Yeah, one of those places, oh boy.
Snoqualmie.
Yep, Snoqualmie Pass. That's where King 5's Bridget Chavez met up with business owners who are celebrating the snow.
Storm will bring changing conditions here at Snoqualmie Pass, and for many who have been waiting for winter to finally arrive, it's a welcome sight.
At Snoqualmie Pass, the drive can change fast.
If you're going to be out on the road, we just ask that you play it safe, go slower than you think you need to. Don't get too close to any sort of traffic, but especially bigger trucks and our snowplow trucks as well.
One moment, clear roads. The next, snow moving in.
Look, they wired me up.
Inside Drew Brew Brewery, just off I-90, the storm is something many people are watching.
And 2 weeks ago when we were up here, there was no snow. They said it was lightly snowing. No snow. I was really disappointed.
And welcoming.
But now, what do we have?
Oh, we're so happy. I'm so happy.
It's been a disappointing winter in Western Washington.
We're not always guaranteed like a mega snow year. Like, there's ebbs and flows.
For some visitors, the forecast was enough to send them on a road trip.
So we are always
this couple from Brazil
chasing powder, yeah.
Visiting California, saw snow in the forecast and drove all the way here to find fresh snow.
Stevens Pass tomorrow, maybe Crystal Mountain, not sure yet. We'll drink a few more beers and decide. Yeah.
Washed Out again says that if you do have to drive in the next couple of days, make sure you take it slow and that you have those emergency kits in your cars. Reporting at Snoqualmie Pass, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Rod Hill is up on the weather deck this morning. Are you sitting in feet of snow up there?
No. You guys remember that snow map I showed you though? They were at Snoqualmie Pass, but it shows Rainier getting like 70 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So Washington definitely more of a bullseye than we are here in Oregon. I am up here on the weather deck brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. I'm looking around. Some thin spots, mostly cloudy, all dry. Everything's wet from passing showers. I don't think we see much total rain in the coming hours, but this afternoon, unlike yesterday, I do expect things to pick up and for it to get increasingly wet. Let's get you outdoors, and we start with a temperature up at Timberline Lodge of 16 degrees, where they have 7 inches of new snow. Okay, I mentioned this next map. Roll it, Director Brian Matthews. This is the snow map for accumulation all the way into Saturday, ending at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Shows basically 40 inches on Mount Hood. Now, I think we could get that much at Timberline. The problem is the snow level goes up to 5,000 feet Thursday and Friday, so Meadows Base could be kind of a wet mix. But Timberline should be all snow. 3 feet seems very doable. There's Mount Rainier, that bullseye I was telling you about. It actually shows 76 inches, 29 in the Olympics, and some snow down out east as well over Anthony Lakes. Here's our future cast. This is that 2 o'clock hour increase in moisture this afternoon. And notice the blue. So today, that's snow over the Coast Range. Today is the final day of looking at Coast Range snow. Starting tonight, the snow levels will go back up higher and it will just be all rain. So here is tomorrow morning. Yep, there you go. That's steady rain that comes in over after midnight tonight. And then tomorrow it's raining all day. I think for the most part, it's good wet snow, even at Cascade Pass level during the day tomorrow. But then we start to change that to rain tomorrow overnight into Thursday. And look at all that rain. This is Wednesday night. Good grief, that's coming down. And then there could be a lull in the action at times, but overall the models show Portland in the rain flow area all the way through Friday night. So how much are we talking about? Well, let's find out. Dun, 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 dun. There they go, big numbers. This shows 4 inches of Portland and Kelso. I think at least 2 to 3 in Portland. And if it doesn't stop raining much, yeah, we could get 4. Shows that interesting bullseye in the Tillamook Valley of 7 inches. We'll be watching you folks in the Wilson River that drains into that valley, obviously. Here's the Oregon Zoo camera right now. A little brightness, dry, 36 degrees. We did not, as we look at temperatures around the area, did not have any issues this morning with freezing temperatures in the flats of the valley, so that's good news. Again, 40 in Portland currently. 7-day forecast, 47 today. The steady rain tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. It could be all over by the weekend. I'm including a couple of shower chances over the weekend, but I think statistically it's more likely we just have a dry Saturday and Sunday. It is birthday time. All right, today's birthday party starts with Alice, who is 5 years old, got the tiara on. Happy birthday to you. Lola today turning 8. Hope you have a wonderful birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Gabe is 9 today with his dog. Happy birthday, great photo there. And Noah is celebrating no longer being a teenager, in the 20s, 20 years old. Happy birthday to you, fun picture. All right, birthdays at KGW.com, and we will celebrate with you. Whoop, Chris, I got a little sun hitting me right now, a little sun.
Oh, a little bit of everything this morning. Get them them sunglasses quickly. All right, from that to snow tires maybe. Highway 26, so Rod mentioned snow in the Coast Range. We did have a report of a fender bender not too far west of the Sunset Rest area. There's about a 20-mile stretch of Highway 26 through the Coast Range right now that looks like this, or maybe even snowier as you get up higher. And a reminder, the Vernonia School District on a 2-hour delay as well due to the weather. All right, back to the freeway drive locally. There's I-5 through North Portland, still slow and steady coming in from Columbia Boulevard. And the other drive times are not bad. I mean, we could do a lot worse than this on a Tuesday morning. Still, it'll take you about 30 minutes to get in from Troutdale. That's I-84 westbound. And the drive in from Hillsborough at last check, 24 minutes on the Sunset from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. We'll be right back.
I'm David Mulco, the evening anchor at KGW. Though when I'm not working, I like to spend as much time as possible out here in nature. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. You see, what happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to talk about it, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
With a wrap of our top stories this morning, Portland Fire is investigating what caused an early morning fire at the Elephant's Delicatessen flagship location on Northwest 22nd. Crews began trying to extinguish the fire at 1 o'clock this morning. Firefighters spent hours rotating in and out of the building, with crews eventually having to be pulled off the roof and out of the building for safety reasons. No one was injured. The FDA is warning people in Oregon and Washington about a recall of oysters and clams that may be contaminated with norovirus. The shellfish were harvested in Washington between February 13th and March 3rd by the Drayton Harbor Oyster Company and Lumi Indian Business Council. Restaurants that have received the seafood are being told to throw it away, and anyone who gets sick should contact a healthcare provider. And the Department of Justice has reached a settlement with Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation. Now Ticketmaster has to allow competitors like SeatGeek and StubHub to sell tickets at certain venues and pay $280 million in damages. Live Nation will also have to divest from at least 13 amphitheaters.
And take advantage of this morning. A shower chance, but not much rain between now and noon. We will see showers pick up this afternoon. And then the big event There's steady rain arriving after midnight tonight, and especially Wednesday night through Thursday. Could see 2 inches come down over Portland.
For now, the freeway drive actually not in too bad a shape. We've got our normal slow spots. Exhibit A, the lower right-hand part of your screen. That is the slow crawl that is always there at this time of the morning. I-5 southbound near Columbia Boulevard, puttering along a little bit. You're driving from Wilsonville, from the other side of town. Under 30 minutes now, 27 to get you in from Wilsonville Road to I-405.
We forgot to add one of these birthdays to Rod's birthday celebration, but it's Burgerville's birthday.
Happy birthday.
The local chain is celebrating 65 years today, and you can join in on the birthday fun. You can head to any Burgerville location for throwback promotional pricing, which includes $1.65 small fries, $3.65 cheeseburger, and kids 12 and under get a free ice cream cone. You can also get a collectible birthday surprise and a chance to win some other prizes.
That's not much of a throwback price for fries. When I worked at McDonald's in the 70s, a regular order of French fries was 35 cents. Now that would be throwback pricing.
50 years ago.
The shakes are good, though.
Oh,
They bring out that Marionberry shake.
I had never heard of it. I mean,
they're very good.
I was looking at the menu all morning because we were talking about it a couple hours ago, and I've never been.
They ran an ad promo.
Oh,
Like, I don't know. This was probably like 20 years ago. They
Feels
put
like
on
the
the back of
best day
TriMet buses. They said, "Caution, not a real Burgerville shake. Please do not lick the bus." They're that good.
I love a good milk.
Just saying.
That's really good.
Reminder that you can watch Sunrise every day live exclusively here on KGW Plus starting at 7 o'clock. We also have added another half hour of news at 12:30 and 5:30 right here on Plus. We hope to see you then. Have a great day, everyone.